What's in your wallet?
I'm so old.
I'm going to give it a 1 out of 5 explosive hot dog carts.
Ritualistic blood magic.
Laser shooting chesty statues.
Don't watch movies unless we tell you to. Oi! Welcome to more movies with my best friend Phil, bruv. Is that good?
No.
Was that Irish?
So.
Yeah, it was pretty close to Irish. Yeah, you should do that in front of a lot of Irishmen and see how they react.
No, listen, I'm of Irish descent, so I can do anything that I want with Irish accents, right?
Is that how that works?
I think so.
Yeah. Yeah.
All right, fine. I'll do this for real.
What's in your wallet?
I'm so old.
I'm going to give it a 1 out of 5 explosive hot dog carts.
Ritualistic blood magic.
Laser shooting chesty statues.
Don't watch movies unless we tell you to. Welcome to Movies with My Best Friend Phil. I'm your host, Phil Kessel. I'm reading this with no affectation because Will thought that my Irish accent wasn't spot on pitch perfect Irish, and I think that's rather rude of him. But I digress. I'm your host, Phil Kessel, joined as always by two of my very bestest, most best friends in the whole wide world. We're going to start with the older but wiser Craig Norland.
I'd just like to say that I'm the only one wearing green, as far as I can tell. Oh, there you are. Ah, you got green pants. Okay. All right. I stand corrected.
Gosh, okay. Older but wiser. Never mind.
Yeah, never mind. Stupid.
And good friend of mine, young, dumb, and full of fun, Will Chodas.
God.
Great. Love that intro.
Is it? I feel like this is going great.
Yep.
Will, you've just popped open a Guinness. Craig, I believe you also have a Guinness.
Yes.
I have.
Yep.
It's not Irish whiskey, but I have whiskey. Y'all, we're recording this on St. Patrick's Day, and I want to say, sláinte.
Sláinte.
Sure.
The classic Irish toast that I only know that word.
So Phil, I know you don't like beer.
I do not.
Do you like hard cider?
I do. I do like cider.
Okay, do you like Strongbow?
I have not had it in a very long time. I liked it the last time I had it. Cider, I will say, does mostly taste kind of the same every time I try it, just like beer. Unless it's like a wild flavor, where it's like we if they do like the goldfish like flavor blast it, then I'm like, oh, this doesn't taste like normal cider. But if it's just like a plain hard cider, they all kind of taste the same to me, and I like that.
Phil, those are just appletini.
Listen. I've never had an actual appletini, but I guarantee I would love it.
I know.
I guarantee I would love it.
Yeah.
I like most cocktails, so I'd be a fan. But I mean, I'm more of a cocktails guy these days than any specific drink. But cider's always a good go-to for me.
Yeah.
I can't drink Strongbow anymore because when I studied abroad, by the way, I studied abroad in in the UK and
that's
Scotland
so cool.
for a little while. Yeah, I don't know if I ever mentioned that. Yeah, I'm white. My parents have money. What was I going to say? Actually, no, I paid for that whole trip. But then again, my parents paid for almost all of my college. So, little column A, little column B. Anyways, when we were staying in like I don't know if they were hotel rooms, but they weren't like quite dorm rooms. So, and we didn't have refrigerators. So
was it like a hostel?
No, I think the first time it was a hotel, but it was like, I don't know, a weird hotel. It wasn't a hostel.
okay.
I mean, were you getting tortured
No.
by rich
Yeah.
No.
Oh,
no.
okay. So I guess it wasn't a hostel.
Okay,
Yeah,
yeah,
but
yeah.
anyways, so the only thing we were like, I was 21. I just turned 21, and so like we wanted to buy alcohol to like hang on to, and so we couldn't buy beer because we didn't have a refrigerator. And Strongbow cider came in 2 liters, and you didn't need to refrigerate it, so we would just drink warm Strongbow.
Oh,
Oh no.
oh God.
So I kind of
Now I can't drink Strongbow ever again,
I
just
kinda-
because of hearing that.
Yeah, I kind of don't like it. Yeah, anymore. But well, it wasn't warm. We would get like ice or I don't know. But it was still just like, to this day, it's like, if I get close to a cider that tastes like Strongbow, I'm like, this tastes like a hangover. Kind of don't want
Yeah.
this.
Isn't there certain beers that you're supposed to drink like lukewarm?
Yes, that is actually, I believe, is it Guinness?
I think it is.
I
Yeah,
think so.
I think it is. The whole chilled drink is really an American thing. Like, because the idea of a cold drink is really a very modern thing, And
It's like having ice in your drinks.
yeah, that's what I mean. Like, yeah, having ice refrigerated drinks is very modern. And so
Which
like when
I don't like ice water.
I
don't like ice
think
in my
that's
water.
the most insane thing I've ever heard. Caitlin's
Yeah,
family
yeah.
is not a family that uses ice in soda pop, and every time they do it, I disassociate.
Did you say soda pop?
Yeah, I don't know.
Where
what
are
happened.
you from?
All right, Grandpa.
No way.
I thought Craig was the old one.
So
I know.
So I in college.
Back in my day, we would drink soda pop.
And
I have
collect
nothing to
the
go.
bottle
I
caps.
don't know where to go.
I in college I trained myself to stop saying pop because I thought it sounded way too Midwestern, and started.
I got
saying,
caught out at work a
Yeah.
couple of times already.
and so I've changed it to soda, and then I guess I just malfunctioned just then, and soda pop came out. Oh,
if
well.
I'm
Sarsaparilla.
Yep.
oh, my sarsaparilla.
No, that's sody pop.
Yeah.
Fun fact: modern root beer is closer to sarsaparilla recipe than it is to old root beer recipe, because old root beer recipe use a poisonous or a semi-poisonous ingredient.
Hey guys, did you also know that Coca-Cola used to have cocaine in it?
Well, everyone knows that. I'm doing the next level down.
Oh, right, yeah. Sorry, I thought we were all playing that character for a little while.
Yeah, we
Yeah.
are.
Yeah.
We're all the same character if you think about it.
Mhm.
Guys, I got a very important question here that Will is gonna absolutely hate.
Okay.
So we'll go to him last. So the movie we watched, we'll get into that later, but it involves the lottery, and I feel like everyone has this discussion either between significant others or between friends or whatever. Jack and I have this discussion all the time. We literally just bought lottery tickets. Craig, what is your... And now, listen, I do not want to hear you tell me you're going to buy out everyone's student loans in your family and buy everyone a house and do all this nice, selfless stuff. I want Craig's selfish, dumb, irresponsible expenditure of money
Yep. Okay.
for winning the lottery. Give it to me.
Yep.
Hit me with
I
it, Dad.
I mean, you got to buy a big house, and it has to have its own theater. Like I'd have like a really sick home theater set up.
Yes.
With the nice recliners. And then I would definitely quit my job, and
Yes.
I would still have a job. I would like to run my own independent theater,
Yes.
and I could just like make up film festivals and just like movie nights, and that's my dream, is to have that, my own theater. And
I love that.
I don't have to worry about making money. I could just operate it, and I'll have enough money not to worry about it.
Yes. No, I love that. That's a very good... That is exactly what I want as an answer to this question. Because it always... Every time I have this discussion with someone, the first thing is like, oh, I want to do all this nice stuff. I want to do all this. And then I just want to be responsible with it and, just live off of it for the rest of my life. I'm like, that's great, I guess. But do something dumb with it first. It's an obscene amount of money. You can afford to do something dumb. I want to buy a room full of just a bazillion instruments that I mostly can't play, and then spend most of my time learning how to play them terribly. And then now from yours with the independent theater, it would be really cool to open up like a game store, focusing on like tabletop games. That would be really cool. There's a ton of those, but like open up my own and make it super cool and put a shit ton of money into it. Because again, stupid amount of money. You can do whatever you want. Now, here's the important thing. Are you going to buy a cool car?
I mean, I'll buy a nice car, but I don't have the same. I know you like Mustangs, and I don't have the same like car affinity that
Fair
some
enough.
people do.
Fair enough. Okay. I think we've avoided it for long enough. Will,
Yeah.
what's your irresponsible expenditure of money?
Well, I mean, now I feel like you've set me up to some sort of villain, and I do have an answer.
I mean, that's kind of every podcast we do.
That's true.
I love setting you up as the villain.
Usually, I do that myself. I set myself in that position. No,
listen, it's okay if he painted his face brown. That's an imitation of Will.
That is. I forgot that I did sort of. You put me in a position where I found myself defending brownface in a movie, and it just was not fair.
Yeah. Anyways, more importantly.
Yeah, I
money.
would probably spend a week or two researching as much as I could about every single bit of Brian May's guitar rig and buy all of that.
Yeah.
And I would probably do that and buy a red special guitar because they have one, like limited edition ones that are like a couple grand. I would buy one of those. That would definitely be. I mean, but obviously what I would really do is buy a car that works and buy a house that works and do all the really boring things that I would do. But I would also there was also part of me that was like, you know what else I could do? I could take my entire family, extended family, on some sort of super trip and just have that over them for the rest of forever.
Oh, beautiful.
And just live out some sort of psychological manipulation and torture for them.
It'll be a holiday. They'll call you up. They'll be like, "Hey, Will, could you bring a dessert to this?" And you'll be like, "Hey, do you remember when we all went to Yellowstone?"
No, or we all when I all took us all to Ireland. Do you remember that? The whole family? And I
think I'm
going to
not bring a dessert. Yeah. Oh, brilliant.
Yeah.
No, we've also talked about the vacation aspect, taking
Oh yeah,
each
travel the
family
world,
out
that
for
whole
sure.
thing.
I definitely wouldn't. I am somebody who has really very little desire to travel. It's not like I hate travel. I like traveling. I just every time I travel anywhere, I'm always standing there going this is a lot like where I just came from in a lot of ways. It's really.
Is it because you just keep traveling to other cities in Michigan?
No,
because
no.
That's.
I mean, there's part of that, but no, there is even when we were in when I went to the UK, I was sort of I remember standing in this 1,000-year-old building or something like that, and just being I don't think I can appreciate how much I should be appreciating this. Do you know what I mean? And I I can't.
Yeah, I just came back from Canada, and I felt there were a lot of cool aspects of Canada, but it was mostly I took public transit from the airplane.
Yeah.
And it was good. And I was oh, well, Canada's cool. The city itself was also cool, but it was a normal city.
Which part were you in?
Toronto.
My neighbor Toronto.
My neighbor Toronto.
Well, sorta.
Yeah. So, anyways, but anytime I go anywhere, I'm oh yeah, I should take in the culture, and then I just feel like a tourist. I either end up the whole time feeling like a tourist, or just like stress. So it like there's no joy in it for me. It's all like uncomfortableness.
Yeah. Is that okay? Because I sometimes feel similarly, and for me, I think it's because I've seen so many travel shows that like I judge myself if I don't do the like quote unquote true tour of that area.
To me, I'm more,
and then I feel very touristy because I'm like, oh, let me go to this restaurant or grab this thing, and it's like, oh, didn't you know that's like the equivalent of Red Robin here?
Yeah.
I'm like, well, I don't
and the
know.
thing is, all of those things are set up to be that way, though. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like every place that is attracting tourists has a tourist industry, and so they're sort of like they're siloing you through these things, and it's like it's a weird like sort of version of Disneyland. So like I'm interested in other cultures, but like I'd rather experience that via their movies than like showing up and being like, "Hi, I'm here to know more about you." But like I don't know, I just so I just feel like
So we went to Toronto as for a bachelor party, and we went to the CN Tower, and we went up to the top of it, and it was super cool.
My tower?
Yeah, the Craig Norland Tower. And then I was like, it didn't even cross my mind to like go to the gift shop. I was just gonna walk past it. But then Frank was like, "Oh man, we got to stop on the at the gift shop on the way out." And I was like, "Oh, wait, yeah, it's okay to like
buy a touristy
get a souvenir and
Yeah.
enjoy the thing that we just enjoyed." And I think for me, it's a lot of like watching so many travel shows. They're so curated, but they don't show how curated they are.
Oh,
and like
yeah,
Instagram, it's so curated, but it doesn't show you how curated it is. So it's like,
it
all
makes
you
it
see
seem
is,
like
this is this cool thing, and like if you don't do this, you're just a square tourist with like your glasses and your like sunscreen thing on the your zinc on the nose and like a dumb hat, and you look like a lame dad from a cartoon. And I don't want to be that guy, but also sometimes I am that guy.
Well, and also like so many other countries like have such strong opinions about Americans, and like we don't know anything about them, and that's not really our fault. It's because everyone consumes our media.
Yeah,
it's like everyone's like talking to Americans about Trump, and you're like, why are you paying attention to Trump? And it's like, well, you know, it's like, why don't you know about my prime minister? And I'm like, because I'm minding my own business. No.
Yeah. Well, I mean, also, you know, I would argue their prime minister is maybe less of a threat to like the world at large.
True,
but
true.
I understand the vibe.
But you understand what? But like,
yes.
Yeah, and that's the other thing. They're like, in our country, like in Sweden, we don't have a racism problem. It's like, well, of course you don't. You're all white. Do you know what I mean? Like,
yeah,
there's
and they
nobody
also
to be
definitely have like a
I was just throwing a country
no,
out
but
there.
like I'm just being
but you know what I mean? Like, it's like you're so racist in America. You see a black person, you're going to shoot him. It's like, yeah, you don't see black people in Sweden, so we don't even know how you would react. You know, so.
So let's put on the record that in this episode, Will just defended shooting somebody who is another color.
I don't think that's what I did.
It's really fun when we do this to Will, but sometimes I wonder, is it nice?
Is it nice?
Is it
Are we
nice?
just? Is it just high school all over again, where all we're doing is making each other feel bad all the time?
Yes.
Yeah. So when we went to Canada, this was a weird thing. First I got to tell you guys, the things that they say about Canadians being nice, definitely well warranted. Because I was at a machine trying to buy a ticket for, I thought I was buying a ticket for the subway. Turns out I was trying to buy a ticket for a streetcar.
I think I thought I was buying,
but I didn't quite know what I was doing or how I was supposed to get anywhere. And I'm just sitting in Union State, or I'm standing in Union Station at this kiosk, and this lady is behind me, and I was taking a while, and I felt awkward about it. So I was like, "Oh, you can go ahead. I don't know what I'm doing." And so I started to walk away. She's like, "Oh, well, where are you going?" And I was like, "Oh," and I just like showed her my phone where I had like the Google Maps to the address, and she's like, "Oh, you don't want to do this, and you want to go down to this, go down this hallway and take a left, go through this door, do all this. You're gonna take this street up to here, and then you're gonna get on the thing." And I was just like, "Oh my god, you're so nice."
And then you're gonna get into this unmarked taxi.
And then my friend Bill is going to kill you and take your organs. No, so she was super, super nice, and I was just like,
How old
God damn
was
it,
this
Canada.
woman?
Like mom age.
So like mom age or like your mom age?
Probably slightly younger than my mom, but
Okay,
still
I was gonna
like
say because like
mom age from like
we're mom age right now. You know that, right?
Yeah, no, I know. I'm really bad at telling ages.
Okay.
I have other skills. That is not one of them. If you are,
So could you tell me if this was the Bronze Age?
no. I think it was the Stone Age. I only know those two ages. So,
Oh, okay.
oh, is there the Gilded Age? But that's like a whole different.
That's a different thing.
The Industrial Revolution. That's a different.
Frankincense age.
Oh man, we're getting lost in the weeds here.
Okay,
I don't even
sorry.
remember what my original thing I was going to say about Canada was. It was really cool.
They're
Public
nice
transit's
there.
great. Everyone's nice in Canada, and public transit's cool.
Is this your wallet?
Oh, I was going to do a whole thing about how I was carrying cash with me, but it was American cash, so it was just useless. And I wish I had something to put it in. But I don't have like a money clip or like another thing that I could put cash money into, because I wouldn't even know what that's called. And I was hoping you guys could tell me. And then the whole thing is that like we go through a song and dance, and Craig goes, "Oh, I hate this bit." And then Will and I are like doing a whole thing, and we're having a great time. And then it ends up that it's a wallet.
I think I hate this bit more.
You hate all my bits.
That's true.
That's sort of
true.
the whole thing. That's sort of our whole thing.
That's right. It's a segment where we reach deep into our best friend's pants and whip out some recommendations. It's what's in your wallet. Phil, why don't we?
Yeah. Okay. So I got a lot of things. I already talked about Canada. So I'm not going to do that. I could talk about Paper Mario because I started playing Paper Mario, the N64 version. It's
Nice.
just an absolute dopamine rush. It's so good. I could talk about Love is Blind season 6. Pretty good reunion episode just came out on Tuesday. But I'm not going to talk about that because neither of you guys are LIB fans. Don't know how I'm friends with you. I could talk about Kena Bridge of Spirits, which is a game that Jack is playing right now.
That looks fun.
Looks really, really cool. Definitely download it. I've played a little bit. She's been playing it. It's been awesome. But I'm not going to talk about that. What I need to talk about, what I need people to go watch and talk to me about, is a Netflix movie called Spaceman. Spaceman, yeah. It's got Adam Sandler in it, and not in a very Adam Sandler way at all. It's like you know how sometimes he does Grown Ups 2, and then sometimes he does the
Uncut Gems
movie.
Yeah.
This is more in the Uncut Gems line, which I haven't seen. I'm just assuming because it was a serious movie and it was very strange and weird and kind of funny and kind of weird and kind of like if Solaris was made well and was a good movie. Sorry, sorry, guy. Gendy Tarkovsky. That's not it.
Gendy Tarkovsky. Yeah.
What is that guy's name? Who did the other Solaris?
Oh,
the bad one that we didn't like. It's a Russian director. He's very famous. And it's not Tarkovsky and it's not Tchaikovsky.
It is Tarkovsky.
It is Tarkovsky. Okay, I was right.
Tarkovsky, but it's not Tartakovsky.
Yeah. Well, anyways, it reminded me of what I liked about the book, Solaris. Adam Sandler plays... the set design is so cool, too, because it's this, like, retro, brutalist 80s Eastern Bloc kind of like set design for the space station that he's in, or the spaceship he's in. And all the everything's very analog and weird. This isn't ruining anything. It's in the trailer from Netflix. I think it's in the thumbnail. And then randomly there's just a large spider that can talk to him in the ship. And he wants to help Adam Sandler's character deal with like an emotional crisis. It is a really good movie. It is very strange. I almost had this as my pick, but I wanted to watch it before, and I couldn't wait. So I watched it on the plane out to Toronto. Really, really good. It's only March, but it might be the best movie I've seen so far this year. Absolutely loved it. 5 stars from me. Somebody go watch it and then talk to me about it.
Okay.
Please. Even if it's just, oh, hey, Phil, I saw that movie. It was pretty good. That's all I need. That's all I need to sustain myself. Speaking of large spiders, Craig,
Yes.
what's going on with you, man?
Phil, I told you you're not supposed to tell people about that.
Oh,
that I'm
it's the thing you're
secretly a
not supposed to
large
talk
spider.
about. And I always forget that. You're
It's
gonna have
like
to edit
Men in
this out, Will.
Black.
It's exactly like Men in Black, where Will Smith plays a giant spider
Yeah, that's what happens.
with no fingerprints.
So I
More
watched.
sugar.
I'll put my hands behind my back. Or is it head? I don't remember. Anyway,
Put my hands behind my head. I quote the more sugar thing all the time.
I know, me too. So I have a lot.
Yeah.
I'm going to run down a list real quick.
Yeah,
Just
no,
like
that's cool.
thumbs
I
up,
did a
thumb
rapid
down.
fire as well.
Okay, so
Will's giving us a
Um,
look, but just
I
just
know
roll
he
with
is.
it.
Just go with it. I don't remember if I talked about this, but The Holdovers, very good. Like, watch that movie.
Oh, okay.
Extremely good. All of Us Strangers, excellent. Really sad, but cathartic. Wonka, surprisingly good. Surprisingly good.
I genuinely don't believe the words that you just said. I'm sorry. Maybe I'll watch
I
it
know.
and I will agree with you, but I cannot. Something about me does not
know.
allow myself to
I know.
believe that you
I
just
know.
told the truth about that movie.
I know. It's actually pretty funny. It's the same guy who did Paddington, so
Fair enough.
everybody loves those movies. So it's not excellent, but it's not bad. Not bad at all.
Okay.
My favorite movie I've seen in a long time, Dune Part 2, was so good. I liked it a lot better than the first part.
I haven't seen it yet.
Whew, man. They yeah. Damsel on Netflix, original movie.
Okay.
Nope, don't do it.
We just watched it on
okay.
Friday or Thursday. I really wanted to like it, and I liked the setup.
Yeah.
Like, I liked the first 2 acts, and then I thought it wasn't amazing, but the first 2 acts I was like, oh, this is all right. This is like a fun story. This feels like I could make a D&D one shot out of this. Great. Awesome.
Yeah.
And then the 3rd act was just trash.
Most of the movie is just her grunting and screaming.
Yeah, fair enough. Yeah.
Yeah, which gets
it's
really
not great.
annoying. No. So my real recommendation is a book, and Phil, this is mostly
gross.
for you.
Oh, I need to tell you, I am halfway
yeah.
through Project Hail Mary. I'm actually reading it.
Have you gotten to the thing yet?
We just got there.
You just got there.
Yeah, like I think the next chapter goes into the things.
Okay.
So we'll talk about it. I'm going to keep reading it. We're going to talk about it because it is good.
Please do. Okay. So this book is called American Wolf, and it is about the...
Did you say American Wolf?
Wolf.
Wolf?
Not wolf. Like an actual wolf.
Wolf.
WLF.
The sound dogs make, we understand.
No.
Why did they call it American Bark?
Yeah. Or American Rough.
I don't remember all the national parks that you've been to, but have you been up to Yellowstone?
Yeah.
Okay. So this is the story of it's a nonfiction, and it's about the reintroduction of wolves in Yellowstone.
Oh.
And
they're doing that in Colorado right now.
Yeah. And it's so good because it goes into just the relationship that the people who work for the parks have, and there's just people who go and watch wolves. Like, that's their hobby after they retire.
Oh my gosh, that sounds like a dream.
Oh, I mean, it sounds really awesome, and but it's partly about the politics because when they reintroduced wolves in 1995, I mean they've been gone for decades since like the 20s. Because before that, the National Park Service was like, "Oh yeah, kill all the wolves." They get rid of the elk.
They're quote unquote bad. We have to kill
Yeah.
them. They eat the happy things.
I've heard they're big and bad.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Yeah.
they huff and they puff.
Yeah. So
and
you know
so-
we
We
can't
want to
have
build
them-
houses out here.
Yeah, they might blow my house down.
Well, maybe your house, but
Well, mine's made out of straw. Was that a bad
yeah.
idea?
I make my house out of wood sticks.
Yeah.
So I'll be
So-
fine.
so for decades they were wholesale killing all the wolves in Northern America, like poisoning, trapping, and so the only wolves that were left were in like the deep woods of Minnesota, Wisconsin, and Michigan, like the UP,
Yeah.
because they were too hard to get to. And so finally in 1995 they were able to take Canadian wolves, bring them back and reintroduce them. But then you have all the hunters who they make their money off of taking rich people to shoot an elk. And all of a sudden the elk population is going to go down.
Listen, okay. I'm changing my lottery thing, my irresponsible use of money. I'm going to find the people who do those things and I'm going to hunt them.
Yeah.
That's what I'm going to spend my money on. I'm going to be the Batman of defending animals that shouldn't get killed by stupid fucking rich people.
Oh,
Yeah.
Dude, we took
God.
We were looking for gifts for my dad because his birthday was a couple days ago, and so we went to Cabela's because my dad's a hunter and stuff, and we're like, oh, we'll make a little bit of a trip out of it because it's like got a bunch of fun, awesome animals. But what we didn't realize is they have pictures of the dead animal that they stuffed.
Oh.
Of them when they so there's like pictures of like Jim Cabela and his wife
Yep.
Fanny like sitting in front of a dead elephant that they shot. And
Yeah.
right next to that is like a letter from Bill Clinton saying, Jim Campbell, you're the best. And it's just like, or not Campbell,
Thanks for
Cabela's.
killing that beautiful creature.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm going to go play my saxophone.
Oh,
That's
Bill, are you
I'm taking.
here?
Oh my God! Former President Bill Clinton.
He just walked right in.
Yeah, that's the weird thing about going to take my kids to Cabela's is they have all the pictures of the dead animals.
Yeah.
Like, oh, this seems very wrong.
Yeah, just get
Yeah.
rid of that. I mean, the animal's already dead. Like, whatever. It's fine. It gets Jack excited about the actual animals. Don't
Yeah.
show me a picture of you shooting it. God.
God.
Um,
Anyways,
so,
Craig, you were saying something.
So, but like, one of the points I wanted to make is that animals are super important to the ecological survival of the planet and other animals because when they got rid of the
Yeah.
wolves, the elk got out of control and they
Yeah.
started destroying all the plant life, and then they would get diseases because there's too many of them, and then they die out.
It's
They're like, oh, maybe if we had wolves here, this would make everything better.
it's
It,
so buck wild that is a thing that needs to be explained.
yeah.
I know.
No, like, okay, so I bought my mom this comic book a while back. It was about, oh man, what is the Bird Society? Is it Audubon Society?
Yeah.
Audubon.
Yeah. And it was all about, I
I don't know what driving fast has to do with birds, but continue.
Yeah. And it was his story of how he like basically revolutionized like how like animal drawings, like drawings of animals, because all of his drawings of birds were like dynamic, and before that they were very like stoic and just sat there. So this is a very interesting book. But like the whole time he's discovering these birds and he's just going like, this is magnificent, and then he shoots it. And then, and so
Jesus.
so he can form it in the shape he wants it to.
Yeah.
And there's even like a couple moments where he like gets so close to self-awareness where he's like, this is such a beautiful country. It's too bad we're all gonna ruin it. And then they all shoot all the geese in the sky.
My God.
Fuck.
It's yeah.
So I'll keep it short, but the main thing I wanted to say is the book does a really good job because it's not it says, okay, look, there's ranchers, they're afraid of wolves, and
Yeah.
like all the people who live up there, it's really politically heated. Like you're either pro-wolf or you're anti-wolf, and people get violent about it. And it's been going on for decades since they reintroduced them.
I mean, that's the classic American. This is our whole issue. Is like somebody goes like, "It's good for me that it's bad for everybody else." So I'm going to fight for something that's bad for everybody else because in a small way, it's good for me.
Yeah, and it has to be, they want it to be good for them because they're stuck. Anyways, Craig.
They did the thing where at the last moment to get they were trying to do the spending bill during Obama's presidency, and like because the government was going to shut down, and then the Republicans or not, actually I think it was the Democrats up there, they added on a rider that said that wolves were not protected anymore. And they did it like so nobody knew it happened. So the book's about that and going back and forth, judges, and then they were just like, well, judges can't like do anything about this anymore. So no takesy backsies. They're forever off of there. And so it's about that battle, and you get to know these wolves because they have numbers. Because some of them they are able to track. You know, they have the little tracker chips on them.
Yeah,
and they build these relationships with these wolves. Wolves are such caring creatures. They don't attack humans here in America. Like one of the hunters shoots one of the female alphas, and the male doesn't do anything. He just sits there and like mourns that his alpha's gone.
Oh.
Yeah,
and there are so many heartbreaking parts of this because it's like you learn about this, this alpha female who raises all these other wolves and protects her family from other packs in Yellowstone.
Freaking badass matriarch.
Yep. And then just some random shooter or some random hunter comes and shoots her. And he's like, why is everyone pissed about this? Oh, okay.
Oh, God, that makes me so. Here's the thing. The book sounds interesting and great, but it sounds like it would infuriate me so much. Except maybe that's a good thing.
You would love it.
I feel like if I read the book, I would quit my job and become a poacher.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was going to be, but I really, if I win the lottery, by the way, I'm going to start a political party and where our only platform and our only goal promise is eat the rich.
Yeah. Okay.
That's literally going to be the only thing we try and do. Make it illegal to eat the rich.
Oh, you mean literally eat the rich?
Oh, yes. I mean literally eat the rich. If you have a certain amount of money, people can eat you.
I love this. I will support you.
I like how we just talked about winning the lottery, what we do, and then we're like, yeah, those guys.
Yeah, no, I mean, because money's the only way to do anything in this country. So that's why that's why the lottery exists.
And you Batman it. You Batman it into poaching, or literally eating rich people.
Yeah, those
are the only two options.
I am one uncomfortable, long, annoying conversation with somebody from Comcast away from like abandoning my family and just becoming a Batman somewhere.
Yes. Yes.
So I'll make a last point. I know I've gone on a long time, but I care a lot about this. This will make you hate, like if you were not already disillusioned by politics, this will make you hate it even more because like, well, the Democrats are usually good. It's like, no, they sacrifice things all the time.
Yeah.
Because like, it's more important that this Democratic senator in Wyoming or Montana keeps his position. So he has to offer up wolves and he has to do these things just so he can stay in power. That's all it is. They don't care. They don't fucking care about anybody. Like constituents, people, nothing.
I didn't even read the book and I'm feeling fired up.
I know. I'm sorry.
Jesus.
It got me.
Wow.
Well, okay. Yeah. All right. Well, on a more positive note.
Yes.
Will, do you have something more positive in your please?
So Akira Toriyama died.
God damn it. That made me sad. Dragon Ball and Dragon Ball Z, man.
Yeah. So
What a
I
staple.
yeah. So the couple days, like the day of or the day after, I went on Switch, and even though I had my rule that I'm not buying any more video games this year, I seem to be doing that every other year, and of course I break it all the time. But I went and I bought Dragon Ball Z Kakarot on the Switch.
Carrots?
Yeah, actually, that's what is. See, this is why I
know.
love Akira Toriyama, is because every character in Dragon Ball and Dragon Ball Z has the stupidest name ever. Like Bulma means underwear, and Krillin is like chestnuts, and
Wait. Can we go back? Because Bulma's full name is Bulma Briefs.
Bulma briefs. Yeah,
It's underwear. Because her father is Dr. Underwear,
yeah.
and her son is Trunks Briefs.
Trunks briefs.
Oh
yeah.
my god.
They never bring that up.
No, they don't. There's the biggest bad of Dragon Ball Z is called Boo, and he is made by Babidi, who his father's name is Bibbidi.
Bibbidi
So
bobbidi
it's
boo.
Bibbidi Bobbidi Boo.
It's fucking great.
I love.
It's
So
golden.
here's the thing. I want to talk about, before I talk about Dragon Ball Z Kakarot, I want to talk about Dragon Ball Fighter Z, which is it's a fighting game that came out I don't know, 5 years ago, and it is awesome. It's just like a great fighter game, and it's a great Dragon Ball Z fighter. So every video game that they try to make, or every time they make Dragon Ball or Dragon Ball Z into a game, they immediately make it just a fighter game.
yeah.
And Dragon Ball Fighter Z is the only one they ever need to make. Like, just make another one like that if you're going to keep doing it, because it is so fun. You get to play as so many different characters, and you switch out characters too. It does like a tag team thing, which is it's very fun, and it looks exactly like the anime.
Yeah.
The problem is, that's not what Dragon Ball Z is to me. Like, I loved the fighting of Dragon Ball Z, but I also love the world and flying around and stuff. So that's what Dragon Ball Z Kakarot is. It's the anime, so you play through the anime, but it's open world-ish because it's kind of got zones. So you just can fly around as characters, and there's a bunch of Dragon Ball characters in it, and it's an RPG. The fighting style so it's an RPG open world fighting game. And I have to say, it kind of doesn't do any of those things great, but altogether it does it all okay. Overall, I wouldn't say that this is a great game. If you didn't like Dragon Ball Z, you probably would be a little confused and more frustrated with a lot of the elements of this game than you would be having fun, But because I'm a big fan of Dragon Ball Z, and I've yet to see a Dragon Ball Z game where you can fly around Korin's tower, and then go up and meet Kami, or fly to West City and go to Capsule Corp, or go fishing with your tail in the ocean and kill a giant blue fish, and then fly 1,000 feet the other direction as Gohan and chase down a bunch of dinosaurs. It's it's so fun, and you can go to King Kai's planet and jump around his little tiny planet. And it's just
I've seen some of the fighting games, and
Yeah.
the only thing I take away from it is the whooshing sound when they jump up.
I love the whooshing sound.
It's just that's all it is. It's just whoosh, 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 whoosh. Boing, boing, boing.
Yeah, the when he falls, they make this weird sci-fi sound that doesn't exist when you fall, and I love it. It is so fun. It's very linear at first. You do both the Saiyan saga and the Namek saga without a whole lot of choices. But then once you get into the Android saga, you get a car. Which
Yes.
is there's an episode of Dragon Ball Z where Goku and Piccolo have to learn how to drive a car. And that's in this. And so you can get a car and go to Bulma and get it customized and changed and stuff.
Yeah.
And there's no point in the car. You start the game off flying as fast as you possibly can. The maps are gigantic to make it feel like you're flying super fast, but you can still get a car and drive around. And for whatever reason, I love that more than flying. I love driving in the car as Goku and just like crashing into stuff. And man, it's fun. I think I'm maybe halfway through. I don't know. It's hard to tell. There's also a pretty fun thing of it that like there are tons of characters in Dragon Ball Z and they like all stick around, you know, like Yamcha is like the first big bad guy. No, he's like a villain from like episode 3 who stays through all of Dragon Ball Z, even though he becomes completely irrelevant like halfway through Dragon Ball, but he's still there, you know?
He's a personality hire.
He's one of my favorites. Whenever I play a fighting game, he's my favorite to play as in Dragon Ball Fighter Z because everyone's been balanced. So the way they balanced him is making him blindingly fast. And he just does like, he doesn't do any like many energy beams. He just does the Wolf Fang fist. And if you time it right, you can keep comboing it. Yeah, it's pretty fun. It's pretty fun to kick people's butt as Yamcha when they're like Super Saiyan Blue Goku.
Yeah.
Like, yeah. I play this game too much.
God, it's so good.
But what was I going to say? Oh yeah, it has this like you get like a community board. So like whenever you do sub quests, side quests for characters who aren't like big fighters, you get a little token and you can like level up their token. You can like put it on different. So it's very RPG element in that spot. You know, you can cook food, which boosts your character's stats temporarily and then also a little bit permanently. It's fun, man. I am having a blast.
Good.
Yeah, man. I'm like living it up in the Dragon Ball Z world, and I'm already the fact that like I can tell that I know that it's going to end and when it's going to end is already making me sad that I'm going to be done with it.
Yeah, no, that's fair. That's very fair.
But
pour one out for Akira Toriyama.
Yeah. Speaking of pouring one out for people who've died, we watched a movie about somebody who died.
Yeah.
We watched Waking Ned Devine, which apparently is called Waking Ned in other parts of the world. It's a 1998 comedy film written and directed by Kirk Jones and starring Ian Bannon, David Kelly. Oh, I don't know how to say this woman's name. Fiona Flanagan. Susan Lynch and James Nesbitt. 87 minutes long, $3 million budget, made $55 million. How do you think this is sitting on currently on Rotten Tomatoes?
Finola.
What?
Sorry, I googled how to pronounce her name. Finola.
I should start
at least that's
doing
what the
that,
first
shouldn't I?
Google said. Rotten Tomatoes. Listen, I feel like this movie, and this might be giving away my position on this movie. I think this is like 100% for me. I don't think it's 100% on Rotten Tomatoes.
Yeah,
but I feel like it's got to be pretty high.
I'm gonna go like 92.
I was gonna go 91. I feel like Craig's got it though. I feel like we're like right in the.
Phil's got it. It's got 84.
Ooh!
Oh, I'm gonna flip my table.
And only 88 for the audience score. So I
I'm
don't
gonna
know.
Flip my table again.
Yeah.
Can't account for good taste.
Apparently.
So, Craig, you picked this movie. Why?
I did. This is one of my all-timers. It's just I was telling you and Caitlin that this is just like one of my feel-good movies. It's one I grew up with. I don't know where my dad found it. It was just one day we started watching it when it came out in 97, 98. And it's I pretty much watch it every single year. It's never not funny to me. It just makes me feel good.
Mm-hmm.
All the actors are so good. It's great.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I had seen this movie before, but Phil, you had this is your first viewing, correct?
This is my first viewing, yeah.
So how'd you feel about how do you, I mean, you kind of already let us know.
Yeah, no, big fan. It was very heartwarming. It's very nice. It's light.
Mm-hmm.
Like it's not, it sort of just feels like it's like man, it's almost like my pitch perfect Irish accent. It just kind of lilts, and it kind of just like dances. It's a very light movie. It's like a heavy topic, and I feel like they do strangely. We'll get into it. I just really like that the wife doesn't go along with the plan initially. She's like actually quite mad at the two of them because they're idiots.
Yeah.
And I love that. No, this was just it was really pleasant to watch. It was just really nice. I felt very happy. It was a silly plot. Things are funny. And then, towards the end of the movie, there's at least one scene where it's just like a very heartwarming buddy friendship thing that happens. And it's just really nice. It just felt good, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, just good. That's all I got. Unless we're going into specifics. But Will, you had seen this before. I'm assuming you liked it before, and then I don't know how you feel about it now.
Yeah, I mean,
I can make assumptions for you. I could talk for you.
Yeah, I was before I was sort of struggling to how to describe this movie because I'm like, it's not like really a comedy. It's definitely not a drama. It's sort of like a movie that just like makes you feel a certain way in a positive way. And then Craig's like, it's a feel good movie. I'm like, oh yeah, that's what I was looking for. Yeah, I mean, because that's essentially it. I don't know what to say about this movie, to be honest with you, other than like it's fun, it's nice. Like I feel like everything that I can think as like sort of like being critical, just because we're being so positive right now, and I gotta be the villain a little bit. Every critical thing I can think about it for this movie is sort of like can be refuted with, yeah, but that's not this movie. Do you know what I mean? Like I feel like I can be like, yeah, it doesn't go into this enough. It's like, yeah, but that's not this movie. That movie's not going to do that, like that kind of stuff. And like this kind of movie isn't going to do that. And what it did make me feel like sort of this like weird, deep sadness inside of me that like it made me realize like how isolating our modern world is, and how like much I go like, God, I wish I was in a small little village of like 500 people. Not 500 people, like 50 people.
52.
Yeah, it's like 52 people or something. And just like where everyone's name, and like literally the pub is somebody's house. Like the reason why it's called like Flanagan's is because it's Flanagan's house,
Yeah.
Yeah. And you just like walk over there, and part of me is like, I know that would drive me nuts in a lot of ways, but at the same time, it's just sort of like, man, I
almost feel like these days it would drive somebody nuts a lot less, because you would still have, like, if you still had internet access to like,
yeah, and they have
get
television
that when you
too.
needed it.
Yeah.
But like that community is definitely lacking.
Yeah.
In a lot of like modern life.
Yeah. But I just mean like, just like the idea of like you knowing everybody, and like everybody, I don't know. It's just, that was the one thing I found myself like just going like, because I live in Ypsilanti. It's a small city, and like I can like walk to a lot of places, but like nobody here lives and works here necessarily. The people who own the businesses downtown don't necessarily live right down the road, and the people who live right down the road from me don't work, like, they drive to somewhere else or something. And so it's just like, I don't know. It made me kind of go like, I feel like that's what, I don't know. I feel like that sense of like community outside of finding a community on the friggin' internet is, yeah.
It's a whole deal.
Yeah. It's bumming me out, man.
I feel very similarly. God.
Will, do you want to give a short just summary?
Sure, I can give a summary of this movie. So,
Ireland.
No, basically there is a small town in Ireland called, what is it called, Craig? Tullymore.
Yeah.
And our main character, we watched this movie a week and a half ago, so I don't remember his name.
I watched it this morning.
You watched it this morning. What's our main character's name?
Jackie.
Jackie, that's right. So he does the lottery, and he was reading the newspaper, and he realizes, I guess they like let people know where people are from when they win the lottery, I guess.
Well, I mean, they do that here too. There's like,
Yeah.
well,
Yeah.
it was
I've
bought
never done it
from.
once.
Yeah, they'll announce like where it was bought.
Oh, okay. So it was bought like within this small place. Somebody won the lottery who lives in this small town of 52 people. So our main character, Jackie, and his buddy, Michael, plot to discover who it is. And so they like, do a lot of fun. Like they have parties or they have people over and they try and trick them into letting them know. Eventually it's discovered, and this is the plot of the movie, that the person who won is a fella named Ned Devine. And Michael and Jackie go to his house and find him dead. So he won. He had a heart attack reading that he won, right? So the plot then becomes, how do we get this money? It's done a lot less like cynical as like just saying what I just said. Like he has a dream where he talks to Ned and like Ned says like share the chicken with everybody. There's a metaphor in there somewhere.
It's less. It's less bad, but it's still like it still feels very selfish. Like it still feels a little because he's like, oh, Ned would want to share this with us because he doesn't know how much it is.
Yes, and Jackie is like and the original plan is Michael and I and my wife will be taking all of this money, right?
Yeah,
and so they call the lotto and basically what they discover by having the lotto guy show up is that Michael pretends to be Ned. Is what they discover is that he needs to do like an audit to make sure you are actually Ned. That somebody who's doing exactly what you're doing isn't doing what you're doing. So then they have to convince the entire town to be on board with that Michael is Ned Devine, so that they can win this money. So yeah, and it's just all about like small town, and there's this whole B-C plot kind of Pig Finn and this one girl, and like there's like a little boy who's no one knows who the father is, and like Pig Finn thinks he's the father, but no one like she won't marry Pig Finn because his name is Pig Finn because he smells like pigs. And it's just like this like cute little other story, I don't know.
Yeah.
So here's something I really appreciate is they could have like Ned Devine still feels like a very tangible character in this movie, even though he's dead. Like, we never see him alive. He is dead the whole time. He has the dream where he talks to Ned and everyone says, oh, if Ned were alive and he was able to spend the money, it would have been such a party. Like, okay, you can kind of like he was a fisherman his whole life. And then the spoiler is that the boy, his father, is Ned. And the girl, I forget what her name is, basically
Maggie?
says that Maggie?
Yeah.
Maggie. She's like, oh, he was the nicest like person that I ever knew. And so you get to know Ned post-mortem instead of him just being a empty device in the film. And you don't know anything else about him. You're like, oh yeah, whatever, he's dead. We're gonna get his money. I like that.
Yeah, they don't gloss over a funeral for him as well. I mean, it's a town of 50 people. They hold a funeral for him, and they like actually are talking about him in the funeral, and everyone's speaking very highly of him. And then obviously the lotto guy walks in, and they switch it. Jackie is up there, and he switches it to be about Michael, his best friend, and that's where I was like,
oh boy.
Oh god, this is gonna fucking break me because he starts talking. He just starts. There's not a lot of like guy friend love. It's like Lord of the Rings and this movie apparently are like the only positive like love between two friends that are both men.
Yeah,
and the end of this, like that speech in this movie was just so heartwarming and made me feel so good.
Yeah, it's like I want to have that so badly, someone I can grow old with, and I just know that like they are my best friend, and they are. Maybe I didn't say this before, but you were my best friend. You're the best man I ever knew. That kind of stuff.
And it's these two old guys, and they're still just goofing around. Like,
yeah, that's the other
if
thing.
I could be an old man and still be goofing around with you two guys.
Yeah, that's the other thing that's fun about this movie. Like nobody is like. Oh, the average age is like got to be 60. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like everyone is old. There's Pigfin and Maggie, who both seem to be like 30s, and then the little boy, and that's it.
Yeah.
And maybe the stand-in pastor.
Yeah, the visiting priest.
Priest, yeah.
Which I want to say too, that's like the C or D plot is the little boy and the pastor just talking. Even it's not consequential to the plot, but it gets
there's no overarching thing to those two.
But it's just fun to hear them talk to each other.
Yeah.
And you get a sense of what the town's like, and this guy's an outsider visiting this town of 52 people.
I also think having it be the pastor, the actual pastor is out of town, and it's like the stand-in pastor being there is a great little bit of like plot hole sort of defense, like sort of world building, where it's like, oh yeah, their spiritual leader, their
moral compass.
Their moral compass, if you think that that's what religion does and should do in a town, is absent when they make this decision to steal Ned Devine's identity. And it's never said in the film, and I just kind of put that together right now, that like I'm like, oh, that's interesting, like that the past, and then of course the pastor is the one who kills the old lady at the end.
Yeah.
Which is just not pastor. What is he? Priest.
Yeah.
They're in Ireland. So
Ireland. They're definitely Catholic.
They're definitely Catholic.
Yeah.
I think I touched on it earlier. I really liked that this was a bad, dumb plan to begin with.
Yeah.
Yep.
And the wife immediately is like, she doesn't even go along with it for a second at the beginning. She's like, no, this is dumb. This is bad. You're doing this on your own. You're going to go to jail. I'm not going to help you out of this. And the only thing which is like, yeah, that's not a great plan. However, as soon as it switches to they're going to split these winnings because it's way more than they thought, they're going to split it with the whole town evenly. And then she gets in on the plan, and I in that moment was like, I don't know if I find anything that wrong with this.
Yeah, no, at that point it does sort of feel like, well, yeah, I kind of feel like it should stay in this little town,
But yeah, because like it's like Ned didn't have family, which is part of the premise of the movie, is that there's nobody who would claim it. There's nobody who would,
that we know or anything until the end.
Well, right, and that's the other thing is the movie gives itself an out as well by saying the little boy is Ned's, and by his mom saying like, no, we won't take it. We should share it with everybody. Is sort of like, oh, and nothing bad happened after all.
It closes its own loop, but like the town is family. It's
of course.
It's small enough that like they all feel family enough that like I was watching it and I was like, I don't see why this is a bad thing.
Yeah.
I don't think they're really doing anything wrong.
And every family has an evil aunt.
That's true.
Yeah.
Who eventually, when trying to foil everything, is in a telephone booth that gets hit by a car driving by the priest
road
and gets obliterated and smashed to bits on the rocks of the Northern Ireland.
Yeah. It's a classic story.
Yeah, classic story.
I like the relationship between Jackie and what's the wife's name?
Annie.
Mm-hmm.
I just like even the beginning part
like you
where
could just
he pretends...
reach into a bag of Irish names and you're probably right.
I know.
Yes.
But just the beginning part when he pretends to win the lotto just so she'll bring him his tart. Bring me me tart.
Yeah, I had forgotten that that's how this started, and I was like, oh wait, he starts off. So that's Ned Devine. Wait, is he gonna have a heart attack? Wait, I'm so confused. And then like when he's like, "No, I didn't really win. I just wanted you to bring me my tart." It's just like
it's a real relationship. It's not glossed over. That they have disagreements, and she thinks he's a fool, and probably has always been a fool. but she loves him anyway, and it's a nice,
It's
caring
nice.
relationship. It's just nice.
Yeah.
And
I
again,
like that she's asking after him at one point. She's like, "Have you seen The Boys?" And she's talking about Michael and Jackie, two men who are in their like late 60s.
Yeah.
It's just, I don't know.
And,
Yeah.
and the people she says it to are like, yeah, we
know
they
who
know
you're talking
exactly
about.
what she's talking about. It's like,
The children.
yeah,
Yeah.
the children idiots.
But
I can
just like,
only hope that
Yeah.
is that I'm a part of that when I get old.
Yeah.
and just again, the main characters are elderly men, but they act like they're young men because they're getting getting into hijinks and having to
Skinny
drive a
dipping.
motorcycle naked, switching clothes, and having to lie about who they are. But I
Oh,
love how
man.
it just goes out the window because Jackie's like, "Oh, I'm going to be Ned Devine." Because Michael, you wouldn't be any good at this. And then he sees the lettering guy sees him, and he's like, "Oh, do you know where Ned Devine is?" He's like, "Oh, yeah, let me take you there." Shh.
Yeah. Because he can't go like, "Oh, I mean, no, I'm Ned Devine."
Yeah.
Because it's, yeah.
And then Annie's just like, What's Michael doing? Oh, he's he's pretending to be Ned. He's never lied in his life. Well, he's making up for it now."
Yeah. It's a great line. Oh, man.
The
This is
part
a-
where Michael takes or Jackie takes Michael to see Ned after he discovered him, and he thinks it's his intestines.
Oh, on
It's
the
just the
floor, but
chicken
it's just
dinner.
chicken dinner.
I thought it was his intestines.
Oh man, no, this is a funny, fun, good film. It's
And then
good, man.
all the bit characters. You have the mail lady. You who's got the just like real put on lipstick, and
Yeah.
you have the lady who's always trying to get with Michael. It's like they didn't. There's no spare parts. Like everybody feels lived in, and
Mhm.
this feels like a normal community.
Even the lotto guy from Dublin is like fun. Like he's
Yeah.
not like he's not like some sort of like I feel like in so many movies, like the guy who comes in from the city is like some sort of like prick essentially.
Yeah.
And he's just like kind of a regular nice guy, and he's just
Oh, he's professional.
yeah, but he's professional, and he's like sort of the bad guy. But he's also like very likable,
Yeah.
I don't know. He's just doing his job,
Just
Yeah.
the whole part where Jackie keeps leading him different places in the car.
Oh yeah.
You're going too fast. You're going too fast. Oh, sorry. Okay.
I thought I had slowed down.
Yeah. I think this is worth for everyone to see
Yeah.
at least once. But again, this is a great one to watch every single year because it just makes you feel good.
Also, if you're listening and you're like, yeah, great, but this is coming out like a week after St. Patrick's Day. This is not a St. Patrick's Day movie. It's just
No.
Irish.
Yeah.
It's just Irish.
It's just Irish.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Darby O'Gill and the Little People. Now that's a St. Patrick's Day movie.
Yes.
Yeah. The St. Patrick's Day movie I watched in Catechism. Now that's a St. Patrick's Day movie.
Actually, Darby O'Gill and the Little People isn't. There's nothing
No, it's
about-
not.
No,
It's just
not.
Irish.
It's just
I
really
watched that
Irish.
today.
So we put it on, and the boys did not watch not 1 second of it, except for when the Banshee showed up.
I was going to
and
say the
Sean-
Banshee said that Jonas is
just-
like, I'm scared. I'm like, good.
Yeah, and just like we're like, Sean's not paying attention at all. The Banshee comes on screen, and he just runs into the room and stares at the
Yep.
terrifying Banshee, and we're just like, "Are you okay?"
I mean, that's kind of how banshees work.
Yeah, it's
That's
true.
kind of their whole steez.
Yeah, but he was fine, and I don't think it scared him, or it did, and he
Yeah.
just didn't tell me.
Yeah.
Did it scare you?
It actually, the second time you see it, you see its eyes. I was like, I don't like that at
I
all.
don't like that.
Nice.
I
love that.
So I think we pretty much covered it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
So, Phil, If
Yeah.
you were to give this movie a rating, what would you give it?
5 out of 5 old man butts.
Yeah.
That's what I would give it. Will, where are you sitting?
So I'm going to give this movie 5 money changes a man and nothing changes a man like death out of 5. Which I thought was just like a great quote.
Yeah, that's a great line.
You said 5 out of 5?
I did.
Okay,
yeah.
good.
Greg, what are you giving this? A 1 out of 5?
Yeah, you know me.
0 out of 5? Are we allowed to give zeros? Have we ever given a zero?
No, I don't think we can give zeros. We got to give at least 1. It's like Google reviews or whatever.
Yeah, okay.
Oh gosh, I think I said all my clever lines, so I 5 out of 5 witches getting their comeuppance.
Yeah. Yeah, she deserved to die, right, Craig?
Yep,
She really did.
She did.
I'm happy
She was trying to rat out
I love
a fraud to the IRS.
I
the
love
lottery
that she
service.
is always in her scooter, and then at the end she just gets up and walks like normal.
Yeah.
But
Well,
just like
we at the podcast are
Yeah.
glad she is dead.
Yeah. I'm okay with that.
yeah, I just love that. Really, Jackie is such a shyster the whole time. He's trying to get everyone to tell him who won chicken dinners for everybody, and they think he's won the money because he's acting so strange, treating them to drinks. He's like, "You never bought me beer." What are you talking about?
I buy beer all the time.
Yeah. I know, it's all good.
Okay.
Wow. All right.
Who's next?
Are we doing like a grab bag or is it me?
I think it's
I have-
just you.
Yeah.
Okay. Because I couldn't fully pick one. I need you guys to pick between these two.
All right.
I think I know which one I'd be leaning towards, but I want to watch both of them. So there's a movie from 1952 called The Machine That Kills Bad People.
Okay.
It's on HBO. It sounds awesome. A demon bestows on a self-righteous working photographer's camera the power to smite, quote-unquote, evildoers from the earth. Sounds pretty lit. The other option is The Summit of the Gods, which is an animated thing on Netflix. It's based on a manga. It is a photojournalist's obsessive quest for the truth about the first expedition to Mount Everest. Leads him to search for an esteemed climber who went missing. And I don't know which one to watch. I feel like I'm leaning towards The Machine That Kills Bad People because it sounds weirder. Craig, do you have thoughts? Will, do you have thoughts?
I just like
thoughts.
What's that?
Oh, I said I do have thoughts, but go ahead.
I like the first review for The Machine That Kills Bad People. If Death Note was a middling Italian comedy.
I was about to say that sounds a lot like Death Note.
Yeah. Maybe that's what inspired Death Note. It's from 1952.
Yeah, I was about to say it came before. I kind of am going for that one. The Summit of the Gods one seems interesting, but I hate Mount Everest.
I agree.
Yeah, I hate
So
that
let's
everyone
watch The
thinks that
Machine
it's
That Kills Bad
interesting.
People.
Okay.
Interesting to go
Roberto
there.
Rossellini. I've heard this Italian director, but I'm looking at his filmography and I don't recognize any of these.
Yeah. I hope it's weird and either bad or good, but not in the middle. That's my hope.
La Macchina a Mezza Cattividi. That's what this says.
That sounds about right. If I know my Italian.
Neorealism
And I don't.
is his trademark, so you have to figure out what that is.
I don't know what that means.
Yep.
It sounds like a thing that somebody else knows what it means.
Thank you for liking and subscribing to the podcast. We're on Instagram and Facebook. If you guys want to tell us what you would do if you won the lottery.
Yeah.
And didn't die
tell
immediately.
us. Tell me right now. This episode was brought to you by Dan Bader. Yay, Woo! Dan, thanks. If you're interested in helping support us and hearing your name shouted out on the podcast, consider becoming a patron at patreon.com/mumbledrunk.
If you like what you heard, consider leaving a review on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or Google Play. That's all for this episode. I'm Phil Kessel.
I'm Will Chotis.
And I'm Craig Norland.
Listen, I love you guys.
Sure.
I Lord of the Rings style love you guys.
Oh, okay.
I would
Love you
walk
too.
to Mordor with you.
I wouldn't.
I would walk to Mordor for you.
No, I wouldn't do either of those things.
You are
Seems
two of my
hard.
very best friends,
Yeah.
and I must say that because this movie made me feel like I needed to say that, even though I say it pretty much every time we close out this show after we're recording. But I need it recorded. I need it on the internet so that I get credit for it.
Yes,
All right.
credit, clout. That's what's important in this life.
I need people to know that I love my two best friends.
Yeah. There was a part in Lord of the Rings where Sam fell asleep at Frodo's feet when they were at a party, curled up, and I was like, I don't get these guys.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know that I'd fall asleep at your feet.
I was like, I don't get that. They're like, this is friendship. I'm like, is it? This seems weird.
This is cats.
Yeah, that's what cats do. It's weird. What's going on, Sam?
Oh man.
Brought to you by Mumble and Shrug Productions.